This is John, Vintage Fisherman. Today, won this at auction, saw it and bid way too much for it. My girlfriend has an old rod of her dad's. It's a Heddon PAL rod. Perfect match for this reel. This is a 205R high-speed ball bearing made by Heddon, so it's a spinning rod. This is going to be a perfect match for that rod. This is going to be a wall hanger, rod and reel. I think it's going to be really pretty. I have never owned a Heddon reel. You heard me right. I've never owned one. I've never had one apart. It does have an anti-reverse prop. Well, now it wants to work. I think it's got a spring loose in it. It wasn't working a minute ago. There it goes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. So let's take it apart. It's got a quick release spool. That's kind of nice. Got a bait clicker back here that looks to be locked up. No, it's working. Yep. Let's take the spool apart, see what kind of drags we got up in it. I don't know how old this is. I'm guessing 70s. It looks to be similar in vintage to the original Spin Fishers. Probably the greenies. I would think it's made in Japan, but I have not found anything on it yet. The noting where it was made. Y'all tell me. Let's get this snap ring out of here. Keep your fingers over it, cause when she comes out, it's gonna have a little bit of tension to it. Here's our drag stack, which is one big thick washer and one metal washer. There you go. You heard it from me. There is a fiber washer back here on the back, and we'll try to remove that without messing it up. There we go. I do not wash those fiber washers. I will give them some cows to keep them good. It's got a felt strip around here, kind of like the Royal Maroon series of reels does. It's to keep line from finding its way between the spool and the rotor. It also keeps dirt out of there. A couple different reasons for that. Okay, let's take this handle off. This handle was loose when it came in. They had it turned. It seems to be in pretty good shape. Let's back it off. Alright, we'll clean that separate. No shims underneath that, so we're good there. Let's take the cover off. See what she's made of. Like I said, this is going to be a beautiful little reel when I get it done, and a perfect combo for a rod that probably belonged to my girlfriend's granddad, I guess, just judging by the age of it. The rod is being rewrapped as we speak. I've got it at our local rod builder, and Marcus is going to take care of that for me. Okay, so here we go. We're to the cross line. So you got one screw in here, it'll come out. And I like the simplicity of this reel. You got one screw with a lock washer on it. Smart. This will just, the shaft, spool shaft just pulls out. It's got the quick release ears on it. They're all there. Cross line block comes out. It's got a bushing in it. Looky here. Pay close attention. There's a bushing in there. Don't want to lose that. That's a brass block. Man, the quality of these old reels is just phenomenal. We got a rotor nut right here. We'll take the rotor nut off. Maybe. Well, it might be time to break out the big guns here. There we go. Couldn't get it with that. Couldn't get enough leverage on it. Take that rotor nut off. There's a lock. It's an eccentric looking lock washer, but it's just a lock washer. It's nothing more than that. So we'll take that out of there. It's keyed. Alright, and there's no shims underneath there. There is a retainer and a bearing underneath it. We'll take the rotor apart in a minute. Let's take this retainer out. What a beautiful reel. I love the simplicity of it. It's going to clean up really, really nice. Look at that. Can't get any simpler than that. Okay, so underneath this retainer, there is a brass spacer, and in your bearing. The bearing is smooth as glass because they knew how to make stuff back then. They wasn't no ABEC 7s, ABEC 5s, ceramic this, ceramic that. They just made stuff right back in the day, you know, just made it right. Let's clean it up a little bit. It's a little grungy. Let that soak. Now the rotor, of course, there's your pinion gear. Good to go. Sluggish. It's just because it's got old grease and stuff on it. I'm going to start out with taking this off right here. I'm going to use a screwdriver that fits that just perfectly, and it wasn't stuck. This reel's never been used in salt water. Can guarantee that. Okay, there was a lock washer up under here. Don't lose that. Now this side over here, there's no bail spring in there, so we're going to take it off. Okay. I'm not going to take that off of there. There's a spring in there. I don't want to play with that thing. I can clean that really well. I'll get this old label off that was probably on it in a thrift store or something. So we'll work on that when I get it over to the cleaning tank. I'm hoping to keep this special chip and corrosion proof finish sticker on there. But let's take this off. Oh yeah. Easy bail to set. There is a bumper on there. It seems to still be there and in good shape. Your bail spring comes out like this. Okay, so it's stuck into a hole, so you got to kind of pull all of it out. That might prove to be a little bit difficult because of the way it's in there. There we go. And that is the entire reel. Well, no, it's not. Because remember, we had a problem over here. Let's see what's missing on this dang thing. I may need to order a part for it. No shims that I can see. No, there's no shims. I believe it's grease choked. No, it's not grease. Well, yeah, it is. But it's not working right. Let's take it apart. That screwdriver's not going to fit it. I don't know if you can see, my camera angle's not the best for this, but there's a screw with a spring on it that something's not working right down in there. There's the spring. There's a dog. The spring was in there like this. The dog was in there like that. And of course, the screw went through the middle of all that. And then you got this thing here is like really loose. That could have been the whole problem with it. Let's take it out. You had that shim on the outside, and then your selector is on the inside. A whole bunch of nasty grease, so we're going to clean all that up real quick while we're finishing this up. You can look down there and see all the chunks of grease in it. I just take an old cheap screwdriver and fish it all out of there. It's really, really old grease. This also gives me a chance to look and see if I didn't like miss a shim or something down in there. I think I'm gonna take this end cap off. That's where you put the oil and grease in it. Yeah, came off easy. No shims on that, so that's good. Just got a little bit of grease up in here. Bronze gears. Here's probably part of the problem with the anti-reverse. It was grease choked up all around this. I would say this is where the problem was. This will all get cleaned up really good in the washer. I can make that all look brand new. I don't put the bodies in the ultrasonic because it will take the paint off. It's very selective where it takes the paint off, but it does take the paint off. It's like the ultrasonic waves get up under like a little chip or something and they just keep going, and next thing you know you got really no finish left. There it is. I'm gonna have to heat my equipment up and give this thing a good bath, and we'll be back when it's time to put it all back together. Like I said, this label will peel off. I'm just taking my thumbnail and the I clean the bodies in WD-40. I've discussed that many times. The WD-40 will take this off, what the residue it's left. WD-40 is a solvent, but it's not a it's not going to do what like you would think like brake cleaner or some other solvents will. It's got enough oil to it where it's not detrimental to paint, if that makes sense. There it is. There's a screw. It did not come out of this reel. Oh. Okay. Alright, well anyway, I found an extra part. But I know which one it went in. Anyway, I'll be back when I get this cleaned up. Hey, I'm back. Hopefully my audio's better. We'll see. Trying something new here today. It may be worse. Some of you are probably cutting your volume down now. I got this really pretty old Heddon reel cleaned up. I was able to save that sticker, but I got all that old other crud off of it, and man, what a beautiful reel this thing turned out to be. Let's put it all back together. We'll start out up here on this end. We'll put the rotor back together on it. This bell spring has to go in at an angle. You just push it down in there, and then you'll hook this in there, and you'll actually have to spin it all the way around, about right there, and put this big retaining screw in there. It's not easy. This can get complicated. You need like 10 finger, or well, whatever. You need more fingers than what God gave you. Let's put it that way. Let's put that on there. All right. Good to go there. Over on this side, very simple reel too, by the way, folks. It doesn't get much better than this, to be honest with you. Well, I got to figure out which way it went, because it could go either way. My guess is it goes like this. So we'll put that in there. Okay, that's in there right. We'll put a little oil on that when I get to it. A little bit of pin oil here. Your roller goes on. Make sure it spins. I'm gonna put just a tad bit of grease right there. And this will go up in there. Then there's a lock washer. And then this acorn looking nut that actually has a slot in it. So you really can't get a pair of, or any kind of wrench or anything up in there. It goes up inside like that, so it's just not possible to tighten down with anything other than a screwdriver, honestly. Okay, there we go. Yep, that would be correct. Let's see if it'll fire. It actually pulls down. Yep, there we go. All right, so the rotor's done. Now I got to build this anti-reverse dog in here. It was acting really crazy when I took it apart. It wasn't really working right. Yeah, I feel like it's missing a spring. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But this went in the flat. Oh boy, not enough. Too many big fingers here. Let's try to use a pair of pliers. Can't get my fingers up in there. The flat side on that is going to go towards the main shaft like that. Okay. And then over here, I want to say it goes on like that. There's a washer that goes in there, a wavy washer. Keeps a little pressure on it. And then your selector handle. I hope I'm doing this right. We'll put just a little dab of grease in there. I hope nobody's been into this thing and jacked it all up. We're going to find out. I mean, this is trial by error. I did not print out a schematic. I'm assuming there's a schematic out there on this reel somewhere, but it's pretty old. Okay, that's good. Now, that don't look right. That does not look right. It's upside down. Let's take it back out. Try again. I hope my audio is not completely screwed up because I hate that to do this all over again. We'll see. Okay, back with the wavy washer and then the selector handle. And then the screw. Like I said, this reel is going to go on a special reel, a rod. Okay, let's see. That still does not look right. Just going to say it. No, it can't be right. I'm at a loss. I flipped it both ways. Neither way is right. That's not going to be right. Don't think. Try it and see. Oh, goodness. Did not mean for that to happen. We're going to wear the daggum parts out just trying to put it together. Sometimes you got to have a lot of patience with these old reels. Sometimes they're missing things. Okay, here we go. Hey, I got it. Well, I see some dirt I left on that. That's never a good thing. Dirt is not your friend in fishing reels. It's not really dirt, it's old lubricant. If this audio mic doesn't work too well, I have other options. Let's see if that's gonna. I want to say this will go on. Okay, spring's going to have to go in first. Yep, it's a small housing and I've got big old fingers. I think it goes just like that. This will go on there. I hope. This will go in there. I'm not going to be able to put any lubricant on there, I don't think. We'll try. I'm running out of fingers here. Goodness gracious. This thing is really something. Doesn't look like a difficult reel, but the way they've got everything way up in here, it's just not going together well for me. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, so that would be no anti-reverse, and that would be anti-reverse. Okay, I think we got that. We'll give it all a little bit of lubricant there, a little lubricant out here. The next thing in would be the main gear. I'm not going to put any lubricant on that anti-reverse. I'm not a big fan of having lubricant on anti-reverses, but we will. Look how pretty that's a massive gear. I just wanted to point that out. That's a really nice gear. This is a well-made reel, by the way. But I'm not a fan of putting grease on anti-reverses because they get gummed up and then they quit working. Let's just see if it does its thing. Look at that. Look at that. All right, we'll go ahead and put the handle on it. There was no shims. Not going to put the handle on real tight. Just going to kind of bring it down to hold that gear in there. We'll give it some oil. I will use some Lucas out here. Some Lucas out here. Look at that. All right. We'll put a little bit of grease back here and put this plug back in it. A little bit of grease, and I globbed a whole pile of it on there. Always match up your screws. You've heard it on everybody else's channel too. Your screws to your screwdriver. The last thing you want to do is butterfly a screw. Not good. Now, remember how everything goes here, John. You had the bearing. I do believe this went in first. No, it does not. The bearing goes in on the, yeah, like that. Then you've got this spacer or collar goes in there. Holy. Okay. We're going to try to hold all that together. Put a little bit of grease on those screws. Put this plate in there. Get those screws started. It's going to try to fall out on me till I get the rotor on it. All right, now we will drop the rotor on, a little bit of oil. Oh, I also need to oil this in here. Okay, oil under there, a little oil under there, oil under there. Oil here, here, here. Everything got to be slick. This will go in. You got this retainer that goes on, and it lines up with that key. Looks like a Pac-Man or something there, right? For some reason, it's not wanting to. There it goes. And then we're going to go with this little dab of grease, and we'll put this massive nut on the rotor. Massive. Okay, tighten that down. Don't have to kill the torque on this thing. Probably 10 inch-pounds, something like that. That's before any grease on the main gear. Look how smooth. We'll go ahead and put some grease on it. Real impressed with this Heddon reel. If anybody knows where it was made, if it was made by Heddon, if it was made by Olympic, because it kind of has an Olympic look to it, but much better quality. Much better quality than Olympic. It does not have made in Japan anywhere that I can find. It doesn't have made in the USA. It doesn't have made in Timbuktu. It doesn't have anything on it. It's just a really nice old pretty reel. All right, so now this crosswind block, there's this little bitty bushing that goes on that peg down in there. You slide it down on top of that peg. I want to say the crosswind block went in like this. And then your shaft, which needs some oil, we'll put some Lucas oil on there. Goes in like that, and then you had a screw with a lock washer that will go down in right there. And we'll watch this beautiful reel do its thing here in just a second. All right, watch. Look at that. The anti-reverse is working. You can take that anti-reverse off. You can put it on. It's staying in place now. It wasn't doing that before. Going to lubricate all this up really good because it's begging for more grease. I can tell by the way it looks there. So let's see what we can do with it here. Look at that. I'm real happy with that. We'll go ahead and oil these or grease these cover screw bolt screws. The holes for them. That'll keep them from ever being corroded. And as soon as I get the rod back, it's a 7-foot rod, medium light, perfect for this reel. It's being rewrapped with new guides, periods, correct guides. I know Marcus buys his stuff from Mudhole, and they have a pretty good selection of your older stuff. And it'll look really good when he gets done with it. He's just a master. I wish I had his patience. To think he doesn't do it full time. He has other jobs, or another job, and he has, wife and kids and all those cool things. So yeah, busy guy. I appreciate him when he gets to it. Let's see if the bail trips. Wow. Look at the smoothness of that. Are you kidding me? Look, it's literally just that easy. Okay, so we're going to relish in that for a few minutes while I get a fresh rag out here. And for those wondering, I use these wiping cloths from Ace Hardware. I mean, everybody out there's got Ace Hardware near them, and they're cheap. And when they get greased up, I just throw them away. I don't try to wash them or anything. It's not worth it to me. So I don't see any point in it. That's what I should say. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the spool release on there. And I'm going to go ahead and put some cowls on just to keep these fiber washers lubricated and have some, give to them, I guess you could say, for years of storage, because I don't know if I'll ever actually fish with this rod or this reel and rod. This is going to be a display piece probably. So this is like a felt type thing, but I'm going to go ahead and give it some cowls also. Then it got this washer and then this snap ring out here. Yeah, just like that. And then it goes on there, and then we'll put a little bit of grease right here. And man, I'm really happy with this reel. If anybody knows where in the world this reel was made at, please let me know. I'd love to know. It's not on it anywhere. It's not on the spool. It's not on the main body of the reel. I would definitely fish with this reel. And I may very well, just in honor of the reel and rod, in honor of my girlfriend's granddad. We feel like it was his fishing rod. And I feel like I might go out there and catch a bass with it someday soon when I have more time to get out and fish a lot. Look at that. Just the only mark on the whole reel is right there. Somebody banged it against something. It is what it is. That's what I love about. I like reels with real life experiences. Yeah, it's cool to have a brand new reel and a brand new box and pay a shit ton of money for it. Pardon my language, but this reel has caught fish. It has stories to tell. It didn't just sit on a shelf its whole life and its grease got hard and it never got to be played with and caught. What fishing reels are made for. So it's got a little scuff here and there. Well, guess what? That rod it's going on has got a little scuff here and there, and it's going to make a beautiful combo that I won't mind taking fishing, because real life's already smacked this one around a little bit. So we're good there, Real happy with that reel. And the drag feels good. It's almost all or nothing drag, though. There's not a lot in between. There's no springs in there, so there's nothing to. But anyway, I digress. This is John, the Vintage Fisherman. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. You'll get to see more beautiful old reels brought back to life and repaired. This one had a anti-reverse problem when I got it. A lot of my reels do. A lot of my spinning reels have anti-reverse problems. But don't you just love the click? I just love the click. I love that. When I'm fishing, when I'm cranking back, I can tell by the click what my cadence is, and I can change that tempo to try different retrieves on my lure. And I love that click. I don't get that out of newer reels. So anyway, thanks for watching. Catch me on the next video. Talk to you later.